Get in, loser, we're playing Magic.
Whatever.
Okay, we are leaving pre-release 1 for the weekend. Record was 2 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw. Walking back to my car right now because I was very in the zone, forgot to record any games, but we were on Simic Eldrazi nonsense. This set is so much fun to play in Limited. I'm excited to draft, and I'm gonna have some remarks about the game. Oh shit, they're coming for me. Okay, we've made it back home, and here is my list for the night. Final record was 2 wins, no losses, 1 draw. I was on kind of Teamer Eldrazi, mostly Simic, Splash for Red for a couple of guys. Let's go over some standout hits. We'll go top of the line down. These modal dual face card lands, boys, are cracked. I wish I had 4 of these. The flexibility to like keep a first 7 with this as a land or draw into it later as an actual Eldrazi is minty. Colossal Dreadmask is busted if you have any way to make Eldrazi spawn, because that turns that germ token into kind of a 5 mana pseudo vigilance. Basically, as long as you have 5 mana and a spawn, you've got a Colossal Dreadmaw every single turn. So this puts a lot of pressure on the board, which was really good. The reason I didn't go straight Simic was just for these 2 cards, specifically this one. If you can get this to Titan's Vanguard to land and stick, it does bad things for everybody that you're playing against. Doesn't see it's a cast trigger to get the 1/1 counters, so it only pumps the rest of your board when it comes down, but then from the next turn forward it's getting bigger, it's got trample, it's making everything else bigger, and when Titan's Vanguard teams up with it that heralds the end, you can take like 3 or 4 0/1 Eldrazi spawn tokens, and now you're swinging with a board full of like 3 4s, 5 6s, really causing problems. Other big standout was 6. I probably played this more than any other creature, just lucky shuffles, I guess. Opponents cutting me into 6. That mill 3 to grab a land back and then giving things retrace means that you don't need to think as hard about profitable blocks. And especially with cards like this Eldrazi Repurposer, which has a cast and death trigger to get a spawn token. Casting this, swinging in recklessly, it dies, you pitch a spare land that you have when you start to flood out, cast it again, more spawn, get into that guy. The synergy builds itself. Double Reform was also extremely lucky for me. This card is unhinged. It has no place being in a limited setting. Unless you exile it, it is just a problem forever that gets worse and worse and worse. 4 mana is a little steep, but you've got a guaranteed blocker on the ground that's just going to get bigger in step with your opponent's creatures. Some things I struggled with, I did not have a lot of removal. As you can see, I've got all my creatures up here, non-creatures down at the bottom. In this color, I could have splashed more red for removal. So the only red kind of pseudo removal I had in my pool was a little Artifact Goblin to pay 4 to do 4 damage to a creature. Molten Gatekeeper, now that I'm thinking about it, would have been pretty good to complement the Glaring Fleshraker, which I'm going to get to in a second, and then add the common legendary. These didn't seem worth the include for the color splash, and to go, nothing was going to get fought out for them, so I ended up not running it. That's an interesting one that I probably should have run, because let's talk about some sweet, sweet synergy. Glaring Fleshraker says, whenever you cast a colorless spell, you make a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn, and whenever another colorless creature enters the battlefield under control, he does 1 damage to each opponent. So it's Impact Tremors, but just for colorless creatures. And that guy paired up with these guys means that for 2 and a green, I am lightning bolting my opponent, and I get a 3/3 and a mana battery, and this guy makes another one when he dies. So I think if I were to use this exact same card pool again, I would find space for this, maybe over one of the Serum Visionaries, just to, or even one of the Reforms, I think, just to really double down on the pinging as I made stuff. Because I had a lot of games where I had 4 or 5 spawn by the end of the game, and I could have closed things out a little bit quicker, but didn't end up going for it. Some other takeaways from this list and the games that I played yesterday. Having a Soul Ring on a 1/3 is nuts. That's pretty good rate for that too, and the 3 and a colorless to draw card came up fairly frequently, and every single pack comes with one of these landscapes. So we ran all of them in this. They all found something, right? So I had some of these that were only looking for red. You were on 2 colors. That was on 2 colors. That one just found a green. That was on 2 colors. This was on 2 colors. So I had at least 2 games where I had every single land out of my deck by the time the game finished. And it's because of these guys. So they do double duty as the colorless source for things like It That Heralds the End. And then you can also mana fix as needed, which ends up being pretty dang powerful. Pulled a foil Stirring Woodland. Didn't get to see a lot of action from this guy in the actual games that I played, but I think it's going to make a splash in some of the other formats that I play, so we'll see. Solid pull there. Speaking of pulls, let's look at the rest of the stuff that I got out of the packs that I opened yesterday. So my promo, well here, I'll get the deck cleared up. But yeah, not a lot of removal, which is unfortunate. So Signature Slam's really funny with Titan's Vanguard, just because it does damage equal to the power of all of your modified creatures. So when you've got like 5 bodies on board that are all modified, you can do like 15 damage to something, which is pretty significant. Let me get this packed up and out of the way. Gotta get that unsleeved for later. Alright, some other pulls. My promo was Chthonian Nightmare. I'm excited to do some brewing with that card. Seems interesting. Obviously, recurring nightmares busted as shit, so this should make an impact. It should be fun to brew with, at least. The reason that I even went with Eldrazi in the first place is I pulled in Ululek, Fused Atrocities, so getting the commander cards tossed in there kind of randomly is interesting. Had him in hand one time and it just never... He got taken out after the first round, but funny. Some room there for me to pay 5 for one of those Eldrazi repurposers and get a lot more... usage out of it, but still solid pull. My backup deck that I was thinking was kind of a Rakdos energy artifact combo, because I got Imskir, Iron Eater, and Aether Revolt. We pulled Archwave Innovation, Shadow of the Second Sun, Ruby Medallion, and Philia Exuberant Shepherd, and then my notable uncommons are Kozilek's Unsealing, Null Elemental Blast, and Vexing Bauble. This doesn't really come up a ton in Limited. Everyone's usually playing mostly monocolored stuff. They'll have 1 or 2 multicolor in the deck usually. So didn't make the cut in the actual list. And then I probably could have run this, but I think for 4, 5, and 6, So I had 2 that were 7+, and then for my 4, 5, and 6 drops, I only had... How much were we looking at there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 that were over 4, and then 2 that were 7. So might have gotten some value out of that, but I thought it was better to have bodies in that slot. But you know, $3 uncommon, can't be mad about it. Hello, I'm Spencer.
I'm Roland.
Welcome to Stax Attack After Action Report.
Yeah, baby.
We're going to try and do these every once in a while when we're doing live events. This weekend, though, was the pre-release for Modern Horizons 3. So this is my second one. You'll know that because that'll be in the beginning part of the video. But me and Ro went to one of our friendly local game stores called Pink Bunny Games, and small turnout.
Yeah, it was just us and one of our friends, Alan,
Yeah.
who usually frequents for cEDH. But we have a homie that works there that we convinced to...
They got paid to play in a pre-release, which is awesome. Probably only got away with it because the owner was out of town.
Or yes. Or was conveniently not there.
Yeah. We digress. So it was just 4 people, so we did a little round-robin thing. My record was 1 and 2, so... And then, I guess 2 and 2, we didn't play the 4th round, really. Ro got a bye in the 4th round, and me and my opponent did a roll-off, and I won, so...
Yeah,
Packs
sometimes like 3 and 1, I think. Yeah.
But I put together a bit of a Jeskai energy pile, so I'm going to get this split up by mana value for you to all witness. And then we'll go over some of the card choices that I had.
So it's very fun.
It's very fun. I got this Tameo Inquisitive Student in the frame break, which is really cool. That's actually a pretty useful card. A 0/3 flyer with an attack trigger seems dumb, but if they don't have flyers, you just get clues every time they attack, which does enable you to flip her, but I think more crucially, you just have a bunch of clues.
Yeah, 100%.
That's doing more work. Although, flipping her over, she has a pseudo fog on her, which is not too bad. But it's definitely... drawing more cards means more win. Also, it's fun how they've included some stuff from the Commander precons in, and that's legal in a sealed environment. So, like, I got this Satya Aetherflux Genius, and it's cracked in limited, especially with how many cards there are with Enters the Battlefield effects going on. Pretty disgusting. Okay.
I'm happy that they started doing that too. It's like I remember a time definitely drafting, and it's just like the draft environment's always cool, but like having those like bonus cards,
Yes.
especially during like when cEDH came out and everyone was like pulling crazy artifact inventions. Just, like,
Yeah, all the inventions and stuff.
swords and mana crypts and your like crazy limited decks. It's
Yeah,
nuts.
I am a big fan of all of the special guest, alternate inclusion, big score, fucking whatever the set calls it.
Oh yeah.
The bonus sheet is really cool.
It's
Okay. Jeskai Energy. So some notable hits. I was at 44 cards because everything kind of synergized together, and I'm not gonna say that that directly contributed to me not doing as well today, but it it directly contributed to me not. I just love Jeskai's my favorite color combo. So I just really I love any chance that I get to play it. So I had a pair of Hex Gold Sliths. Those are good beaters if you can get in with them, and yeah, no, it's a 2/1 for 2 that you can situationally give first strike, and it does not stay a 2/1 for long. This Pyro Surfer guy with the amount of fetches in the format is nuts. You can set up to get like +2, +3, +0 to your whole board very easily, and he's got haste, so you can kind of play him as a overwhelming stampede type effect in this deck. Let's talk about removal package. I also had 2 copies of Fanged Flames, which was incredibly relevant. And then some weird white removals: Thraben Charm, Expel the Unworthy, Bad Swords, and Dog Umbra, which is like a fun pacifism. And then to round out the 2-drop slot, Conduit Goblin, Utter Insignificance, which is some more removal, and Stomp Stomp, which I toasted in there just...
Yeah, Stomp Stomp is amazing.
It's good. If you have creatures.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
With any green removal, that's what you got to worry about. Notable 3-drops, Cursed Mirror is great. Cursed Mirror is great. I didn't get a chance to cast Big Dumb Whale. I'm really hot on this card. I think it's great. It's really easy in a lot of formats to cast 2 spells, which means that this is not just a 7/5 with haste delayed by a turn. I think that this will stick around, but also it's a really easy to satisfy proliferate trigger in general. So if you have a deck that cares about any kind of counters and has blue, and you're spell slingy enough, on the money. Flare Duplication was extremely handy because that turns any other removal spell that I have in my hand into 2. It's pretty much what it turned out to be. And with Satea, there's a non-zero chance that I can make a token of a thing, pay the energy to keep it, sack the original to flare, so I can actually cast it for free without feeling bad. That guy was mid. That was alright. More removal. And I'm a big fan of Serum Visionary. Serum Visions is a good card. It's a 2-mana 2/2 with Serum Vision stapled to his forehead. Yeah. It's fucking awesome.
It reminds me of like a Pondering Mage. It's just like the 5-mana 3/4 that comes in and you ponder.
Yeah, so except this is like on budget. Like it's a 2-mana 2/2 in blue. Fine, that happens. But then you just staple fucking Serum Visions onto it, and off it goes. And like he even looks, look at that.
He looks cool. He looks very cool.
Oh god, the glare.
So sick.
Yeah, but like that's the Serum Vision stapled to his forehead. Just. Having access to cards that were designed for Commander in a 1v1 environment, like you do in Canlander and Vintage, is always a problem.
Yes.
This guy landing was great. Like
you just get that.
Yeah, he's a 3/5 with Menace and Haste, which is fine for 4 mana anyways. It wouldn't be 3 color. But then you get all the other bullshit.
Yeah. Honestly, you don't even think about the other bullshit until it starts happening. You're like, oh wait, no.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then to round out the top end of the curve, this was my final form of the deck. Last game was actually against Row. I had a Johnny Fells the Godsire in here just for that first step to exile some big stuff. And then Null Drifter is great. I was in blue. Drew me 2 cards for 3 mana every time.
We love a divination.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. Yeah, Tamiyo was a lot of fun. Ocelot Pride, I think I was just not in the... I don't know. It's tricky, right? If that's your only source of life gain,
probably not.
Probably not. But if you have passive life gain, like if you had a Soul Sister on board or something like that,
yeah, one of the multiple Soul Sisters,
significantly better. But that was so. I just had it in there as a 1-mana first strike 1/1, which is still fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't do a lot with them. So yeah, that was my spread. Is it the best deck I could put together out of my cards? Yeah, probably. The rest of it was garbage.
Yeah.
I had a lot of black creatures. I might have been able to do an artifacts thing, but I had nothing else that went well with it. So
you actively tried to. I remember after your first round, you tried to switch, and you're like, I can't.
Yeah. And like that wasn't just me. Literally everybody in the 4-person pre-release looked at my pile and was like, "No, what you have now is better." So
yeah,
I don't know. But it was a lot of fun. You got any notes on my...
No, I liked it. Yeah, I just didn't... I think, it sucks only having, like, 3 opponents that you can choose from, right? And when 2 of them are playing very aggressive, removal-heavy decks.
Yes, it's rough. Yeah, and then the other one was playing 6/6 beaters, not deck. So, like, I just wasn't quite fast enough with anything. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I had fun. It was a lot of fun.
No, yeah, like... So, spread is great.
Yeah.
Very well put together.
All right. Let's scoop this out of the way, and then Ro's going to transport their stuff over. We can talk. Do you want to switch sides? God damn.
Yeah, so I going into this, I was supposed to go yesterday, but I double booked and didn't get to. But I had Spencer grab my pre-release kit, and on the way to this pre-release, I opened it up and it was like
very distracting while I was driving.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you get?
It was a sick ass fucking Rakdos pool. And so going into this, I was like, oh, I would love to play red, black, or Jund, or maybe Naya. Because the last time we played, I did Naya plus blue because of Oko.
That was good.
So funnily enough, I got Jund. It's disgusting. Bunch of swamps.
Time for the Jundening.
Yeah, the Jund. I did Jund them out too. I'm a very fast player too, and thankfully limited caters to that because I can just play a bunch of stuff. I think the stars of the deck secretly are always going to be these cycling.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention
these are insane. I don't know why they're better than Evolving Wilds, but they're better
because they tap for colorless.
Yeah, they tap for colorless.
Early game, so like turns 1 to 4, it's an Evolving Wilds, and then turns 5+, it is a colorless land that helps you mana fix if you need it.
Yeah, and 100% because this set had a ton of colorless stuff in it, and there's not really a lot of lands that produce that. So having these lands that can just turn into actual colors that can also tap for colors are great.
And they have a cycling ability on them that you're never going to use.
Shout out Michael Majors.
But it's helpful because when you look at it, you know what lands it gets. You don't actually have to read any words, which is awesome.
Legitimately. Realistically, looking at my stuff, it's just efficient beaters and removal. It's really all it is.
Efficient beaters with a nice top end, and then
this was probably the coolest card that I got aside from the flare.
That's a super fun build around too.
So what I found out is that there's a lot of these weird little synergies that I didn't realize going into this. So what's cool is we have this flare, right? We also have this retrofitted transmogrant that we can sack to the flare and then just get it back, which is insane. A cool little loop that I was doing is that there's an etch slith, and slith are creatures that when they deal combat damage to an opponent, they get a counter on it. When this one deals combat damage, though, you get to take a counter off something else, and the brood scale, whenever a counter is put on it, you get a scion. So I would attack, after damage, take the counter off of Basking brood scale.
And then adapt right away.
And then adapt again, yeah. Just to get those scions, it's disgusting. I was like, I wonder if this works out.
Yeah, considering the other Eldrazi that just makes scions with no caveat, it's 3 and a green to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So you're getting it for a half off.
Literally.
That's beautiful.
There's also the... you said the pacifism card, the dog card.
Yeah.
That happened to me a lot. What was cool is I have white in my deck, so any creature that you pacify, I can just sacrifice for a
get
land.
Value out of it anyway.
And that works with the landfall creatures, like this red guy and this 5-mana dude here. Like, where are you here? Cool landfall stuff.
Yeah.
Also, just the meme of Colossal Dreadmaw as an equipment is the coolest thing.
It's also busted.
It's so good.
It's really, really good. Yeah, it's a 6/6 with trample for 6, so it's just on curve anyways. And then when it dies, there's so much Eldrazi spawn stuff in this set that it becomes a 5-mana 6/7 with trample.
Legitimately,
instead.
yeah.
So it's better and cheaper.
Yeah, no, this is a very it's technically a counters deck. We can technically call it a counters
modified
deck.
creatures.
Modified.
Yeah.
But yeah,
this is the only card that cares specifically.
Yeah,
about
specifically that. I think there's I have temperamental.
Okay.
Too,
yeah, you got the other one.
Which is cool. No, it was very efficient. I love my mid range bullshit. I'm a fan of attack, play a creature, kill your thing, attack, stuff like that. And sealed is where if you're good at tempo, you're going to be good at sealed. That's really at the end of the day. And I got lucky with the good amount of removal here.
And 2 of them being lands doesn't hurt either.
That's what I always play 41 cards too, and just making sure 3 of my removal spells are also lands. Yeah. Which did fuck me in one game where I just had to play them and then didn't have any removal. But
But you had the lands.
Comes with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, this was cool. I went what was it, 3-1? I lost once. Yeah. And the match I lost is because I was on 2 lands both games.
Fucking limited.
Yeah, right? I'll take it. I'll take it. If it's not my fault that I lost, I'll take it.
It'll happen.
No, it was super fun. I love this format. Especially in this environment with Modern Horizons 3 specifically.
Oh, this is going to be
elevated.
I'm excited to draft this set.
Hell yeah, no, it's sick.
We'll have to see if we can get some of the Tuesday boys to settle into a draft.
Oh, hell
also.
Yeah.
That'll be like a bring your own pack thing. I don't want to buy a box.
Yeah, absolutely not. That's these are
got enough already.
Also, I feel like sets like this, like the cool like extra sets, are really cater well to people learning limited too, as opposed to like
Because it's not like, oh, you have to get really good at 3 specific things. It's like everything kind of does a little bit, figure it out.
yeah.
And it encourages you to like you have to look at all what the cards do and think about weird ways that they could interact. Like that Slith Adapt combo is not something they would on purpose include in a regular set.
Legitimately, yeah. And there's also like, because it is that extra set, the power level is going to be a little bit higher.
But it felt slow to me.
Legitimately.
In like in a pleasant way, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some limited formats where you're like, all right, turn 6 and it's over. Everything's really cheap and aggressive.
100%.
This one, I feel like all of the games I've played, nothing meaningful happened until turn 5.
Yeah, exactly that. And
I mean, there was like setup, but it wasn't like, oh,
Yeah.
now we like the balance has shifted. Not really until turn 5.
I think like getting into these high-powered formats can be very intimidating. With this kind of stuff, this is stuff you'll see in high-powered formats, but it's like, because you get those draft archetypes, it's like, oh, everything's
Yeah.
gonna be about modified. I'm gonna become obsessed about modified and understand the inner workings of this with this.
Yeah.
And now going forward, here's that knowledge.
Yeah.
Which is cool. You get a lot of those cool little layering things. I also just, dude, Sealed is the best. Sealed is so much fun. This is cool.
I'm excited to do some drafts up in Canada.
Yeah, I'm excited to see.
Be nice.
I'll be in Michigan. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah, hopefully you can meet up with the board state
Yeah,
guys.
we'll say hi to everybody.
It'll be good.
Yeah, any notable stuff happened in your games?
No, I mean, with my list, it turned on fast enough that it was asymmetrical to the point where I couldn't do anything about it. But if you tripped me, I mean, it was an aggro deck, right? So
Yeah.
if you trip me in the early game, it's like, well, I hope I run into card draw.
Yeah, right. There's I think it's like a 4-mana 6/6 that when it enters, if you didn't pay colorless, an opponent puts a creature into play.
Yeah, the hunted Wumpus.
First round, somebody played that against me, and I was like, I really hope you don't have something else. And I got to put in the demon and like won within 2 turns because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
You gotta pay attention still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a fun format. I'm excited to draft it some more. All of the cards are interesting. Even like weird commons like this guy, where we were talking on the drive up. There's that guy, and then the Flesh Render, the Eldrazi ones.
Yeah,
those 3 drops that have impact tremors stapled onto them, and some other thing.
Yeah,
It's just so much fun.
Dude, giving one Unearth too is, and you'll find all those cool little things. Like, there's not a lot. I didn't see a lot of Unearth stuff, but there's a card that has it.
There's like every.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to do at least one card for like every mechanic.
Like, we have a Connives card, just one card that says
I think
Connives.
that is literally the only Unearth.
Yeah, I'm sure.
In the whole set, and like it's such a weird card to put that on too, because that screams combo backup to me.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, all right, I'm going to put out this Impact Tremors in my like Krenko deck, and they're like, no. In like an EDH capacity or anything like that, really.
Yeah.
And then like it gets dealt with, but it's got Unearth. So you just wait till you have that like, oh fuck turn where you're like, I'm going to make 19 tokens in 1 turn. And then you're like, 1 red, get the guy
Yeah, but
out.
it's 1 red, which is insane.
Yeah. It's bonkers.
It's not even a 2/1. Like, it's a 2/3. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a good body.
Out of Bowmaster's range. It's
the biggest one. It's out of Bowmaster's range.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited for the every set review I've seen has been the longest set review the channel has put out since, because of just how amazing this format is.
I'm excited for all of these cards to just like percolate into. I mean, the modern brews alone are going to be fascinating. Like, there's got to be an energy deck in there.
I'm excited to see Shrieking Drake decks. That'll be funny to see just what happens.
And then obviously in casual Commander and competitive Commander, there's going to be those flares are going to do interesting stuff.
The red flare I think is going to be a house in a lot of formats specifically, and the blue formats and the blue is restricted.
Even if you're just doing like big dumb red spells, you've got the goblins and shit.
Yeah, right.
So like, get 2 of your big dumb red spell.
Might as well, yeah, literally. Dude, Blasphemous deck does 13. Imagine doing 26.
Yeah.
Imagine doing 26.
Imagine doing 26 and you've got a Brash Taunter out. Imagine.
Stuffy doll.
Or both.
Yeah,
Who knows?
you could be that person that runs that deck.
Yeah. I think that is very successful. No cEDH for us this weekend.
Just don't have the time for it. I'll be at cEDH next weekend and have another recap for that. Get a meta report on Pink Bunny, because neither of us have actually played there in...
It's been a while.
3 months?
Yeah, it's been a good minute.
2 months? Something like that?
Yeah. And we're just playing the same shit. I wonder what everyone else is doing.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I want to see what's up. Like, Aaron was saying he's not playing Urza anymore.
He's playing Crick?
Yeah. He went from mono blue to mono black.
Tell me you listen to My Chemical Romance without telling me you listen to My Chemical Romance.
All right, that's the end of the video.
Yeah, we're done.